Yes, indeed. Good morning to you. We are finally here. Finally at Friday. I know so many people looking forward to Friday. As you know, it ushers in the weekend. Yeah. So we are definitely on the inside. 25 minutes on to 7 o'clock right here on Good Morning Grenada. Yes, we are broadcasting live from Observatory Road in St. George's. And of course, blasting through the airwaves all the way through Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and, you know, the rest of the world, because we are able to connect with you via the World Wide Web. You can always link up with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on our website, gbn.gd, and of course, blasting through on television, as well as K105.5 FM and Hot 98 FM. I am Msy.Chrissy in your company all the way until 8 this morning. And of course, we're going to take you through a lovely program discussing current affairs, giving you updates as it relates to the news, and of course, teasing your brain in the morning time. So let's get it started. Of course, I hope you're preparing a nice breakfast this morning. Perhaps make a little jiggle. You know, I played a few really good soca songs as we started this morning. So hopefully that got you in a good mode for TGIF. Yeah. Thank God it's Friday, right? And let's give you that update from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. 3 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Grenada. Current hospitalizations, 2. And 0 new deaths, 3 new recoveries. Active cases stood at 51 as of the 23rd of September, 2022. Could you imagine? We're in 2022. Wow. I remember when I used to head up in school and it was 1999. Boy, time flies, and we couldn't imagine being in the 2000s. And here we are. Let's move it along to the word of the day. Proselytize. Proselytize, and that is spelled Proselytize. Proselytized. Now, proselytize is a formal word that describes to try to persuade people to join a religious cause or group. That is a religion, cause, or group. Proselytize, right? So let's use that word in a sentence. Eliza is a staunch environmentalist who always feels the need to proselytize to anyone who doesn't drive an electric or hybrid car. That's your word for the day, proselytize. Yeah, I'm sure you can find a way to use it. You know, if somebody is of a particular religion and they're trying to get you over, that's a good verb that you could use to describe, what they're trying to do there. You know, there you go, your word for the day. Now let's take it over into your thought of the day. And this one is coming from Brian Tracy, and it says, if you don't control your time properly, it is difficult for you to control anything else. I strongly believe in that one. If you don't control your time properly, it is difficult for you to control anything else. Time management is paramount in your personal life, in your professional life. You know, it's just so good to be in control of your time, how it's spent, what you do, who you spend it with, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah, man, we pay attention. And let's move it along to the riddle of the day. But of course, I have to say a special good morning to my co-host, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I am doing great. Feeling great. Hopefully looking great.
Well, we can't see us, so we can't tell.
And here we are today. All right. Welcome. It's Good Morning Grenada. I want to jump inside of the radio this morning. But I like this morning's word of the day, proselytize. A lot of people like to proselytize on many different fronts, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So include this one in our vocab going forward, you know what I mean? All right, got a nice riddle for us here this morning. All leave Google alone, please, okay? This one is too easy to be trying to Googleize right now, okay? What is taken before you can get it? What is taken before you can get it? Y'all know the number? Hit us up if you got the answer to that riddle. Pretty simple one, actually. Ready, steady, go. What is taken before you can get it?
435-2041. That's the number you can call and partake in the riddle this morning. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Where are you calling us from?
St. George's.
St. George's in the building. Do you know the answer?
A photo.
A photo. Gary, tell us, is that correct?
A photo. I have a picture, but okay. Photo. Same thing.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. You are to this morning's official Smarty Pants today, all right? You getting ready for school?
Yes.
Nice. Where do you go? Which school do you go? Which school do you attend? Which is?
Mother Rose.
Mother Rose. All right, great. All right, congratulations. Well, not that you're winning anything, but bragging rights is yours for today. Go tell all your classmates I successfully answered the riddle this morning on Good Morning Grenada. Have a blessed day, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there you go. All right, the answer is indeed a picture. Got it? There you go. What is taken before you can get it? A picture. Why not? Make sense?
It does make sense. Makes a lot of sense. That was a nice, easy one.
Nice, easy one, can't make it too, hard every morning. Sometimes you got to give an easy one for the younger ones to jump in and have fun with. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. Getting ready for school this morning. Good morning to you. Breakfast being prepared. Whatever it is, getting ready for, of course, a profitable, productive day today on the JOP.
I like that word, profitable.
Yeah. Business owners, how about that? All right.
Indeed. It's a month end as well, too, right?
It is, actually.
Yeah, so it will be a profitable weekend for most people, hopefully.
And hopefully it's been a profitable month.
Hopefully.
All the businesses out there, you know what I mean?
We have a call on the line. Good morning, you're live.
Why Grenville tongue is called a cricket pitch?
I don't know. I never heard that before.
Grenville tongue is called a cricket pitch?
Yeah, why Grenville tongue is called a cricket pitch?
You got me stumped.
No, you have two bowlers at each end and batters will be in the middle.
I get it though.
Yeah, explain that one for me.
No. You have two bowlers in each end. RM bowler, HM bowler. And batter is to be in the middle down Caesar and Digil.
Right.
You understand?
I understand. I would you know.
I wonder if anybody could have get that one, boy.
If you buy a piece of land, you have a piece of land. You cutlass it. You fuck it up. You plant some fig tree. You water it. It start to grow. When is the only time afraid to go in the land? Hello?
It's so funny. You gave me this one before, and I completely forgot the answer.
Forget that? Yes, because you're afraid to go in it when the fig shooting.
When the fig shooting.
Anytime you shooting, you hear shooting your land, you go in the land?
That sounds dangerous, huh?
Have a pleasant day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for lightening the mood here this morning. A little light moment, before we get into some of the heavy stuff this morning.
Thank you so much for that one. Indeed, it is Friday.
On either end, man.
I know, but I mean, they're not really. It's something you'd have to, for people way back when, because some of those establishments aren't there anymore, Yeah.
True.
Anyways, y'all, it is 17 minutes onto the hour of 7 o'clock. That time check coming to you compliments Grace Foods.
Share the great taste of Grace Foods.
I want to be free as can be.
They say that freedom is the ability to fully experience life. The GUT Credit Union is giving you the freedom to choose. Get a loan for any purpose, whether it's consolidating your debt, buying a vehicle, owning your home, back to school, or a dream vacation. We offer competitive rates with terms and payments that fit your lifestyle. Call 440-1354. Email loans@gutcu.com or visit go.gutcu.com/freedom to start enjoying enjoying your life, your money, your way. Promotion ends September 30th, 2022. Special conditions apply. More freedom, more choices. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
From Television Center at the Grenada Broadcasting Network, I'm Kenroy Batiste. One of the major campaign promises made by the National Democratic Congress has hit a milestone towards fruition. The $60 million promised for retroactive pension payments to retired public servants are now within reach as the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022 was passed in the lower house of Parliament on Thursday. Rena Pett Thomas tells us more.
The funds for retroactive pension payment has taken the first major step to being secured with the passing of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022 in the House of Representatives on Thursday. Other major allocations for the supplementary appropriations were financing for the new Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation with a sum of $77 million and an additional $80 million for the Ministry of Infrastructure. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, in presenting his first bill in Parliament, says funding was also sought for a fire tender for Carriacou and the salary allocations for 65 nursing assistants, among others.
As a result, it has become necessary for this specific sum to be provided for. And, Mr. Speaker, when one looks at the estimates set out in the Appropriation Act, we would see that the payment of the retroactive pension is, in fact, the second largest single aggregate item. The government has set up the Pension Secretariat via the Ministry of Finance. The Secretariat is located at Mount Welldale in the Corporate Affairs Office. The staff at Mount Welldale are working tirelessly to ensure that the processing of the pensions occur and that it is paid by 30th November 2022.
The passing of the Supplementary Appropriation Act for the period 1st January to 31st December 2022 at the first session of the 11th Parliament outlined the request of the newly elected government for an additional expenditure of $197,702,991 for the year 2022. According to Prime Minister Mitchell, the additional
increase in the overall cost of bitumen, which has led to an overall increase in the cost of the road projects.
The minister outlined other programs and projects that will benefit from the additional money allocated.
An additional sum of $360,000 for training of 75 new recruits for the Royal Grenada Police Force, which includes things like meals and uniform. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, an additional sum of $1 million. That has arisen because of the rationalization of the diplomatic posts. As you would recall, Mr. Speaker, we, as a new administration, have indicated that we are recalling our ambassadors so that we can have dialogue with them and so that new appointments can be made. Naturally, that requires us to treat with outgoing ambassadors who have to recall the expense of coming home, etc.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for St. Mark, Dr. Clarice Modeste Cohen, was elected Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. She took her oath at the first sitting of the 11th session of Parliament on Thursday morning. The former minister was nominated by Member of Parliament for St. David and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. The motion was seconded by MP for St. Andrew Northeast, Kate Lewis-Peters.
Honorable members of the House of Representatives, pursuant to Standing Order number 3 of the House of Representatives, I now invite nominations for the office of Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker, I move to nominate the Honorable MP Msy Mac, Dr. Clarence Modesco.
Right, Honorable Kate Lewis has seconded the motion. Is there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I now declare Honorable Dr. Clarence Modesco Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The first session of the 11th Parliament also saw the formation of several committees, including the Finance Committee and the Public Accounts Committee.
Whereas Standing Order number 71 of the House of Representatives Standing Orders provides for the appointment of a committee to consist of a chairman and 2 members to be known as the Standing Orders Committee, which shall be elected as soon as may be after the beginning of each session. Be it resolved that the Honorable House do it now appoint the members of the said committee.
Other news, Grenada's Foreign Affairs Minister says discussions have already begun in addressing some of the nation's outstanding debt issues with other countries. The rest of the details in this report.
Grenada presently owes the government of Venezuela the sum of $370 million. Foreign Affairs Minister Joseph Andel disclosed during Tuesday's post-cabinet brief that the government of Grenada has held preliminary discussions with the government of Venezuela with a view of repaying what is owed. The discussion with Venezuela was centered on the Petro-Caribbean debt.
Venezuela was another one of the countries that we had a fruitful bilateral discussion with, and they indicated that soon they will be resuming the Petro-Caribbean agreement, and this could not come at a better time considering the generally high price of fuel on the international market these days. We are also indebted to Venezuela through the Petro-Caribbean agreement, and initial discussions have taken place regarding a mechanism for amortizing that debt.
The Foreign Affairs Minister was among the official delegation traveling to the USA to attend the United Nations General Assembly, where the discussions took place. The latest Grenada Public Debt Bulletin, published by the Ministry of Finance, shows Petro-Caribbean's debt is 11.5% of GDP. Petro-Caribbean was an oil alliance involving Venezuela and several CARICOM states. The alliance was founded in June 2005. Through that agreement, Venezuela offered those in the alliance oil supplies based on a concessionary financial agreement. The payment system allowed for the purchase of oil at market value for 5 to 50% upfront, with a grace period of 1 to 2 years. The remainder can be paid through a 17 to 25-year financing agreement with 1% interest if oil prices are above US $40 per barrel. That agreement crumbled in 2019. Although not delving into much details, the Foreign Affairs Minister highlighted Trinidad and Tobago among other countries where there are unsettled debt issues. Minister Anders says they have already begun the process of addressing that matter.
Also, I should say it was a one-on-one between the Foreign Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Amory Brown, and myself, to address another outstanding debt issue. It's a debt totaling in the region of $80 million EC dollars, contracted in 2005 following Ivan and in 2013. Not only the Algeria debt, but also the debt to Trinidad and Tobago and another one to Libya have landed us in a category of selective default. I do not have the details as to the specifics of the Algeria debt, and it is my understanding that it is a relatively small sum. Of course, over the years, interests would have accumulated, making it bigger than it was originally. nationally.
Chrislina John, GBN News.
Well, in an attempt to find out what was holding back the commencement of the Molyneux Road project, Member of Parliament for St. Mark, Dr. Clarice Modeste-Cohen, brought forward several questions and concerns during the sitting of the House of Representatives on Thursday. Several factors which were overlooked by the NNP administration were brought to light by the NDC MPs. More in this report.
Member of Parliament for St. Mark, Clarice Modeste-Cohen, while reminding the new NDC administration that the NNP regime had secured a contract with a Sanusian company to start the Molyneux Road project, noted her concerns that no groundwork has yet started.
My understanding is from the then Minister for Infrastructure in the prior administration, in the new national government administration, new national party administration, that we were assured that a contract had been signed with a company. My understanding is that a company from St. Lucia won the bid or the tender, whatever, and that company had mobilized into Grenada. They had set up office, they had contracted workers from Grenada as well as had brought over, and that is a few months ago. That is prior to the elections.
Minister for Infrastructure Dennis Cornwell quickly responded to the opposition member to clear the air and explain that the former NNP government failed to issue work permits or to negotiate with landowners in the area, among others.
Whereas there were initiatives taken to basically award a contract for the start of the Molyneux project, the fact remains there were a number of outstanding issues that had to be resolved. And even today as I speak, we have now come to the conclusion that this project will commence on October 10th.
Cornwell also announced that the starting date for the commencement of work for the road project will be in October.
Issues of compensation for the lands that were owned by the people who lived in that particular location. There were matters of actually accepting the contractor's equipment on island, and they probably needed to basically get concessions for those, as well as other matters that had to be resolved. So I therefore believe to state that this administration unnecessarily delayed the start of that project is incorrect.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pet Thomas reporting.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Rebecca Television Center, the NDC administration has no intention of returning the high courts to the Carenage location. We get more in this report.
Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Claudia Joseph was questioned during Tuesday's post-cabinet briefing about the reasoning behind the discontinued use of the former Lime building on the Carenage in St. George, which once housed all of Grenada's high courts, formerly called the Hall of Justice. Her response was this.
I have seen nothing that explains why that building was abandoned in terms of use by the courts. I don't know what caused the discontinuance of the use.
The Attorney General says they have no plans to reconsider using the building to hear court matters.
If we have good reason, I can tell you when it was discontinued, I was an active member of the bar, and at the time there were a lot of complaints by the staff in particular of having certain health issues which they somehow connected to the building. But in terms of anything formal or anything that will support or concretize those claims. I have not seen those. So until we've seen otherwise, we would err on the side of caution and not consider the use of that building.
In 2014, Grenada's high courts were under one roof, the former Lime building on the Carnage, overlooking the St. George's Harbour. Before the 2014 move, the high courts were formerly housed downstairs York House, which was destroyed by Hurricane Ivan 18 years ago. Presently, the high courts are housed in split locations, including at the National Stadium and Clico building on Yonge Street, St. George. The 3 civil and 1 criminal courts are in the Clico building, while the other criminal court is at the National Stadium. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb service. We are Superb distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Darling, would you like some tea? I've made your favorite.
Well, thank you, darling. I'm here finishing my blog post to help homeowners understand their electricity bills. You know, nobody likes paying bills. But at the very least, you should know what you're paying for.
That's true. Some people just check the balance.
Exactly. There's so much more information on your electricity bill. That is how I've been tracking our usage to make sure the changes that we made are working.
So, what do you have so far?
The left side of your bill shows the rates for electricity and the government charges. The middle portion shows the number of units you've consumed, plus the history of your usage over the last 8 months. And the right side shows how much you're being charged.
So tell me about the fuel and non-fuel charge.
When you pay your bill, you're paying one charge broken into parts. There's a fuel charge, which is the cost of fuel used to generate electricity. And there's a non-fuel charge, which is the cost of delivering electricity to your home and any other necessary services.
But darling, what about VAT?
Now this is interesting. If you use 99 units or less, there is no VAT. Above 99 units, you pay 15% VAT on the non-fuel portion of your bill.
I love this so far. But wait a minute. Have you added the environmental levy?
That's the final piece. You see, Grenlec collects this levy from domestic customers on behalf of Solid Waste Management Authority. This charge is $5 or $10 depending on the number of units you use. So, add the fuel, non-fuel, VAT, and the environmental levy, and that's your electricity bill.
This is really good. I mean, it seems like a lot, but I appreciate that Grenlec shows us a breakdown so we can see the value we are getting for our money, and more importantly, where we're spending it. I really think people are going to value this information.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Policy have been implemented, basically put into law since 2010, and I've never gone to maybe the last reading. So the importance of reconciliation within now and then to make changes, and there will be new advice, there will be new recommendation, and just educating the public of the importance of the sports policy and how it can help shape for sustainability and development of sports within Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. So we're preparing for the consultation, the schedule, basically the reconciliation. And we have started doing some in Carriacou last 2 weekends. We have done in-house consultation with our coaches and staff at the Ministry of Sports. So the first outer consultation with the parish will start on the 6th of October at St. John's. We'll be at the St. John's Anglican Secondary School, and we'll start in the evening from 5 p.m. Then on the 11th, we'll be in St. Mark's Secondary School for St. Mark, 11th October. Then the 13th of October will be at St. Andrew's Methodist School for the parish of St. Andrew. On the 18th of October, we'll be at the McDonald College School for St. Patrick. Then we'll go to Hillsborough Secondary School for Carrico and Petit Martinic on the 3rd of November. Then on the 27th of October, we'll be at GBSS Secondary School for St. George. So let me just take it over. We'll start at the 6th at St. John's Secondary School for the parish of St. John. Then we move on to St. Mark's on the 11th. Then we move on the 18th to St. Patrick. Then on the 28th, we'll move at St. David's at St. David's Catholic School. Then the 27th will be at GBSS. The 3rd of November will be at Carrico for it. So all the ads and advertisement will go on. We are sending letters to all the stakeholders. You may want to know who are we focusing, the target area for the consultation. Well, schools, coaches, clubs, leagues, sports lovers, past sports athletes, everyone, teachers, everyone that are interested in sports and want to learn more how sports can help and what contribution they could make to the way forward through the sports policy and what will be the benefit and the guidelines of the sports policy for the sustainability of sports and how the students and the children could help and gain benefits through participation in sports. Within the consultation, we'll definitely go back to oversee or supervise the election of because each parish will have a representative that will be appointed through them that will represent them on the National Sports Council, the National Sports Council Board. As we say, it's important that you come out because your office and your representative from your parish will be on the board and he will be responsible for sports within your parish. So the recommendation for any development of grassroots program, elite program, and fields, they all will go through that office. So it's very important that we come out.
Don't miss the new season of Interesting Grenadians on GBN TV and social media platforms from Wednesday, October 12th at 8 p.m. and every Wednesday until November 9th, featuring the Anya Chow Chung story, the Richard Duncan story, and lots more. It's Interesting Grenadians, celebrating our interesting and outstanding Grenadians at home and abroad. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN, beginning October 12th. You won't want to miss it.
Are you a small business and would like your business to grow? Do you have an event, products or services that people should know about? Be wise. Advertise. Book your spot on GBN Shopping Guide. Be part of Grenada's biggest advertising medium, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Call our sales department now on 440-2446 or 440-3033 or GBN plus the number sign. Email us at sales@gbn.gd. Special conditions apply.
One day I woke up and they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
It is important to know what your road signs and markings means. The zigzag lines means you should not park in the marked area. Parking is allowed inside the solid white lines on the edge of the road. Remember, look out for pedestrians. Pedestrians, be sure the vehicle comes to a complete stop before crossing. These tips can save your life. These tips can make our roads safer for all users. Be safe, be seen, be smart. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
It is 7:11 right here on Good Morning Grenada Friday. Msy.Chrissy and Gary, Mr. Smooth, in your company. What's going on with you, Gary?
Hey, good morning. Back with you on the inside. We've got the news, and now we're going to get into some more details for those of you getting ready to leave the house. Let me tell you something. That traffic jam in the Loafers Lane area in the morning time is no joke. It's no joke. So for those of you caught in traffic right about now, well, if you leave home and get to that area around this time of the morning, you're good. But let 7:30 catch you in that area, you might as well, start saying some Hail Marys and Our Fathers and those sort of things. You know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah, you could spend a good 10-15 minutes sometimes going down Lothers Lane according to the time. So you just have to be smart about it. If you don't want to be caught in traffic, try to leave earlier.
Yeah, but if everybody leaves earlier, then
but we know for a fact everyone won't leave earlier. That's just what it is. Or find alternative routes. I think that's something we probably need to start thinking about as well.
Alternative route coming from the northern side, the northeastern side, where I'm from. An alternative route, nah. That's the only.
Then enjoy your traffic. You know what I mean?
Enjoy the traffic.
Enjoy your traffic.
Enjoy the traffic.
I know I don't like traffic, so I always find ways to, I use all sorts of back roads.
Exactly.
You can't style me when it comes to back road, whether it's in town or country. Yeah. I will use a back road because I just don't like to stand still.
I very seldom use the main road, main route. I always go through Springs, Woodlands area.
Right. And it depends on the time. Yeah, it depends on the time for sure.
All right, extended hours of the DMO clinic at St. George's Health Center. You guys should know that. So that should come as good news for many of you. So as of September 29th, 2022, the public is informed that with immediate effect, of course, that the hours of operation of the district medical office's clinic that's in St. George, that's the St. George's Health Center, they will be extended to 4 p.m. That clinic would be extended to 4 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Now, the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs encourages everyone to take note of the extension and make full use of the provided service there. All right, so there you go, folks. Extended opening hours in that area, and I think that comes as really good news for many of you guys. All right, so now you know.
Yeah, that's definitely good news. It made me wonder what time it was before, but
exactly the same thought came to mind. I was like, but wait,
I was trying to keep it together, but
yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'm definitely looking forward to extended hours. Well, not even extended, but expanding the hours of operation, not just for health services, but a lot of our businesses. I mean, we're still going to the bank and 2:00. Like, what are we telling ourselves?
Yeah. Since after Ivan, they never increased the hours.
Never. It makes no sense. No sense. I commend. There's one institution. They're actually open on a Saturday, and I was that's everything, because you don't have to rush if you're going to work. Sometimes you have no time to go to the bank if you're working regular. So I'm hoping that we can do that, because it will make a difference in terms of our economy moving. Once things are more convenient, you might slip out a little extra. So hats off to them for expanding their operating hours there.
Indeed, and I'm definitely with you on that. Let's get the banking hours increased Monday to Friday as well. Come on, guys. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The Ministry of Health confirms active outbreak of acute respiratory infections. That's the situation right about now. Yeah. That's the epidemiology department of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs is closely monitoring an active outbreak of acute respiratory infections. That's ARI in the country. Now, based on its most recent laboratory testing conducted on September 27, 2022, the cause of this outbreak is linked to the influenza A virus subtype H3N2 or AH3N2. That's the rhinovirus and adenovirus. All right. Confirmatory testing was done by the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAFA, which is based in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Chan Charles stated that the influenza virus is very contagious and can cause severe illness, especially in infants who are very young and are not old, or have chronic underlying medical conditions. Now, the main symptoms of acute respiratory infections are congestions. Well, that should be congestion, runny nose, fever, cough, sore throat, body aches, and fatigue. Now, as a result, Dr. Charles advises the public, including persons caring for sick persons, and sick persons themselves should practice personal hygiene that is known to be effective in preventing acute respiratory infection. All right. They include, but not limited to, washing your hands frequently, especially after being in a public place or caring for sick people. Always sneeze or cough into a tissue or the bend of your elbow. Dispose of used tissue in a bin and wash and sanitize hands afterwards. Avoid coughing. All right. Or touching your face, rather, especially eyes and mouth, to prevent introducing germs into the body. And the regular thing, because this is just stuff we already know. Okay, so you all be mindful of that. So upper respiratory infection, acute respiratory infection is on the rise. So y'all please take note and pay attention, and let's be mindful as we go forward. All right? This is where we're at right now.
Stay safe out there. This is Good Morning Grenada with Msy.Chrissy and Gary Mr. Smooth. We'll be right back with more.
Pfizer celebrates 5 years of transforming lives with its...
I'm a winner. You are winner. We are winners.
Be an instant winner today with the NLA by simply purchasing your Daily Pick 3 and Playway tickets at your nearest agent or NLA outlet. As a proud sponsor of the CPL cricket coverage, the NLA continues to support the development of sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The NLA, making your dreams a reality.
I'm a winner. You are winner. We are winners.
Solar lights are back in stock and will be available for purchase at Southern Electrical. Here is a list of the solar lights that we offer. 200 to 300 watt intelligent floodlights with camera, 300 to 500 watt solar street lights, 60, 100, 200 and 500 RGB solar floodlights, 100, 200, 300, 500 and 800 solar floodlights, solar garden lights, 25, 40, 60, 100 and 200 watt solar floodlights, 3, 7, and 10 watt solar wall lights, motion sensor garden lights, motion sensor floodlights, 30, 60, and 90 watt solar street lights with accessories, 5 watt solar wall lamps, 40 and 60 solar street lights, and 100 and 300 solar floodlights with battery power display. Now available at Southern Electrical, Dusty Highway, St. George. Visit our showroom today.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada, 23 minutes after 7 o'clock right here on a lovely Friday. Msy.Chrissy, Gary, Mr. Smooth in your company.
Yes, indeed. We're on the inside. Good morning, guys. Everyone is doing good. Gotta say good morning to the folks out there in the diaspora and those of you locked on via the Facebook Live. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to share while you at it. Well, a vaccination and education drive is on the way to commemorate World Rabies Day. So a collective venture to observe World Rabies Day saw the Ministries of Agriculture and Health, as well as a private veterinarian, Dr. Kenneth Carter, bringing people, animals, and the environment under the same banner of One Health. All right, so get your animals vaccinated, folks. All right, as of course we commemorate World Rabies Day. Okay, let's check out this report for more on this one right here on Good Morning Grenada.
Perhaps you can tell us about something else in the meantime.
Okay, we haven't got that clip. Oh well, then we move on then. We all have seen the new kiosks at the Morris Bishop International Airport. Now, a lot of folks are very happy and excited about what? It means faster transition from the airport to the place where you'd rather be. All right? So, reduce paperwork and, of course, interfacing with immigration officers as services of the Morris Bishop International Airport have been improved. Some people are saying, hey, you're getting rid of, face-to-face contact, human interaction, employment situation, loss of jobs. That is something that can possibly happen as a result of that particular technology. All right? But let's see if we can get this report and then come back and talk about it some more.
The news. You analyze the various topics and distill the issues as they unfold. Your distillation points matter as we're about to highlight them in our Social Buzz report.
GBN Social Buzz is reaching beyond the local platform to share with you what's trending on social. Less paperwork and less interfacing with immigration officers as services at the Morris Bishop International Airport have improved.
With the installation of 3 kiosk e-passport readable machines at the Maurice Bishop International Airport, visitors and returning nationals to Grenada can now enter with more ease once they are the holders of an e-passport. A faster, more efficient service at the Immigration Department is now available with the installation of the updated kiosk e-passport readable machines. Head of the Immigration Department, Superintendent Leroy Joseph, explained that the previous kiosk served only returning nationals. However, the updated machines can now serve people from all nationalities.
Social media users took to the comment section to share their thoughts about this latest development. The following views are that of members of the public and not of the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Kate said, "Sad I wouldn't see it." Jacinta added, "It was an ease. Great initiative." Lorena said, "Let's pray that the system don't crash. Great initiative." Everest replied, "All systems do crash from time to time. Remember our traffic lights?" Wolfgang said, "It's great, but the downside will be automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence replacing people. Governments throughout the world will need less workers. This automation of everything is leading to what the World Economic Forum called the useless class. It will lead to mass unemployment. The reason why the US is pushing UBI, Universal Basic Income. It's a form of global welfare." Allison said, "Very nice." Alstacia added, "Way to go, Grenada. Nice start." That's what's buzzing tonight. We encourage you, our viewers and listeners, to submit your think pieces on trending topics locally, regionally, and internationally via our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Continue to share your thoughts and concerns with us on our social media platforms.
There you have it. Yeah. Kiosks. If you've traveled to other countries, you would have seen that technology in place, and you wondered, well, when would Grenada follow suit? All right. So here we are right about now. I think they said it was at least 3. What was there before was just for, I think it was non-nationals using the kiosk.
Just Grenadians.
Oh, just Grenadians?
Yeah.
Okay, so now everyone can use it now, right? That's the purpose of the kiosk as it is currently. Okay. My question is, you have to have how do you know if your passport is an e-passport? I'm not sure if someone from, of course, immigration can answer that question. If that's something, is that a passport you have to apply for after the fact? All right.
So once you're getting your passports, now you will be getting an e-passport. So I think they began, can't remember exactly the year, but the pages, I know only because I just renewed mine, the page is a little thicker than the other passports, but simply ask once you're receiving your passport if it is. But at this point in time, all passports being issued are e-passports.
Yeah, see, I would have to look at mine because my passport was renewed like maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll have to look to see if mine is quote unquote an e-passport. All right, yeah. But this is where we are now.
Back in 2018, I believe.
2018?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I can always get the details for you in the meantime.
All right. In the meantime, we proceed. Ever wondered why the Molyneux project has not yet started? Ever wondered? Well, in an attempt to find out what was holding back the commencement of the Molyneux Road project, MP for St. Mark Claridge Modest Cohen brought forward several questions and concerns during the sitting of the House of Representatives on Thursday. All right, so we would listen to that concern with regard to the Molyneux project, and we're going to listen to that right about now, since we do not have the actual accompanying video. Going to play the audio.
Claridge Modest Cohen, while reminding the new NDC administration that the NMP regime had secured a contract with a Sanusian company to start the Molyneux Road project, noted her concerns that no groundwork has yet started.
My understanding is from the then Minister for Infrastructure in the prior administration, in the new national government administration, new national party administration, that we were assured that a contract had been signed with a company. My understanding is that a company from St. Lucia won the bid or the tender, whatever, and that company had mobilized into Grenada. They had set up office, they had contracted workers from Grenada as well as had brought over, and that is a few months ago, that is prior to the elections.
Minister for Infrastructure Dennis Cornwell quickly responded to the opposition member to clear the air and explained that the former NMP government failed to issue work permits or to negotiate with landowners in the area, among others.
Whereas there were initiatives taken to basically award a contract for the start of the Molyneux project, the fact remains there were a number of outstanding issues that had to be resolved. And even today as I speak, we have now come to the conclusion that this project will commence on October 10th.
Cornwell also announced that the starting date for the commencement of work for the road project will be in October.
Issues of compensation for the lands that were owned by the people who lived in a particular location. There were matters of actually accepting the contractor's equipment on island, and they probably needed to basically get concessions for those, as well as other matters that had to be resolved. So I therefore believe to state that this administration unnecessarily delayed the start of that project is incorrect.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pet Thomas reporting.
All right, so there you had it. All right, on the Molyneux project. So that's going to get started in a few days. It starts on the 10th. All right, so we can look forward to that. And of course, we hope that there wouldn't be any further delay going forward. All right, Missy, I don't know when last you've been up that end, but looking at some of that here, it's definitely amazing.
I'm sorry, we lost you there. Do you mind repeating? All right, we seem to have lost Gary. And just to give you an update, yes, in 2018, the government the government launched the new e-passport initiative. And by 2023, the aim is to have all passports be the e-passport, all right? So there, I think we're back with you, Gary. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes. Saying that with regard to the Molyneux area, I'm not too sure when last you went up that area, but it's definitely I'm amazed to see how that road has deteriorated. You know, they have cordoned off that area for the most part, so it's not available for viewing unless probably you go by foot, and I'm not too sure if they're allowing people to even go there by foot. But yeah, from the images shown, it's just amazing. So
yeah, we have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're live.
Yes. That double lane road in Montmaris, has it completed yet? That the former Prime Minister was supposed to be built.
You're asking if which road is that?
In Montmaris, there was the former Prime Minister said he would have built a double lane road in Montmaris. Has that completed yet?
I don't know of any road construction apart from the project in Molyneux, which is about to be started. That is.
I'm not talking about Molyneux.
I get it, but I'm saying.
It's a double-lane road in Montmaris.
No, I do not know of any such road.
All right, mate.
All right.
Thanks for calling. All right. Okay.
Nicole Joseph here commented on the story, says, response proper. Clarice, yes, all you sit on this project very close to the elections, all you come up with some contractor from St. Lucia and you still find new administration should not do a proper review before commencing this work, question mark? All right.
And we have a comment here. Someone's telling us the passport has a chip in it which is visible, similar to the chip on your debit or credit card. All right, so it's a little, it's a little thicker. So check your passport, Gary, and you'll see. All right, we have a call on the line. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. One of the people on the social media said something which is true about the move towards all these automation. I mean, where you don't have interaction with people like what we have in the bank. You can just go and take out the money and so on. Is one way of eliminating the so-called working class. In fact, a few years ago, I listened to a BBC program in which even China will have over 500 million people unemployed very shortly because of the
artificial intelligence.
Yeah. So, but this is not what I want to talk about anyway. But it's interesting that person noted that. And indeed, we take it for granted. And maybe if you permit me, I could tell you a little story. A story is told about 5,000 years. An old man was seen, a Chinese man was seen bringing water from the bottom to the top of the hill. And a bright young chap went to him and said, "Old man, I can tell you in a way that you can get water up there without having to labor like that." And he said, "I know." And so you would ask, why haven't you then deployed it or use it? He said, "I'm afraid what it would do to me if I employ that method." We don't think about the effect on technology or technique or whatever you call it on us in terms of the social relation. Anyway, if you could quickly allow me to say, in terms of the Molyneux project, one of the problems I think we don't really ask real questions. It asks us the situation within Molyneux. Should we have been in that situation if law and order was allowed to function? And I don't know, even though many people in the new government knows that they must complete the project before 2024 because the funding is coming from that thing when Cameron came here, which is the money lodged at the Caribbean Development Bank. I was one of those people that was consulted by two sets of people, one from Trinidad and one from St. Lucia. The last set was from St. Lucia in terms of that project. So there's a lot of difficulty in this project. So I just want to link that with what happened when NDC came to power in 2008, when they had so much difficulty with the Grenville market and so on. It seems as though the NMP administration don't know how to do things. Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you so very much for your contribution here this morning. Nugent Bernard said, "Why is she asking?" Hypocritical. Clarice was a senior minister and cabinet minister of the then NMP suppressive regime. Why is she not concerned instead about the delay of the poultry and shrimp project where millions spent and yet not a single feather was or scale? All right. So that's another comment on this story here regarding the Molyneux project, which of course you heard is due to start October the 10th. All right, so we're moving along here this morning.
Indeed, we're moving along. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. This is Good Morning Grenada.
prevent cold and flu by washing your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That's the time it takes to remove most germs. No soap and water? No worries when you've got alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
As GBN brings you coverage of this year's Heroes CPL, there will be some adjustments to our programming lineup. On Tuesday 27th, Wednesday 28th, and Friday 30th September 2022, transitions will be at 5:05 p.m. GBN TV News will be at 6 p.m. and repeated right after the CPL match. Transitions will be rebroadcast after the GBN News repeat. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
Don't miss the new season of Interesting Grenadians on GBN TV and social media platforms from Wednesday, October 12th at 8 p.m. and every Wednesday until November 9th, featuring the Anya Chow Chung story, the Richard Duncan story, and lots more. It's Interesting Grenadians, celebrating our interesting and outstanding Grenadians at home and abroad. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN, beginning October 12th. You won't want to miss it.
Mingle and Jingle coming soon to all GBN platforms.
Indeed, it's Friday. I have to give you some vibes. And listen, I have to big up Salty Sounds and Adagun Productions here. And of course, also Teddy Rhymes. 3 Grenadians on this song. This song is now over 1 million views on YouTube. Of course, they did that song from Marshall Montano 5 years ago. So it's good to see that their music is still doing a fantastic job. Teddy Rhymes, Tedon Markey was one of the main writers on the song. Dwayne as well not Dwayne, Adagun is his proper name when it comes to music, and Salty Sounds, they were the producers together with Precision Productions from Trinidad and Tobago. So big up all your whole self on that one. Your Time Now by Marshall Montano.
Yes, indeed. Well, major step for pension payments, guys. One of the major campaign promises made by the National Democratic Congress has hit a milestone towards fruition. That's right. The $60 million promised for retroactive pension payments to retired public servants are now within reach as the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022 was passed in the lower house of Parliament on Thursday. So for more on that, let's check out this report, shall we?
The funds for retroactive pension payment has taken the first major step to being secured with the passing of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022 in the House of Representatives on Thursday. Other major allocations for the supplementary appropriations were financing for the new Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation with a sum of $77 million and an additional $80 million for the Ministry of Infrastructure. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, in presenting his first bill in Parliament, says funding was also sought for a fire tender for Carriacou and salary allocations for 65 nursing assistants, among others.
As a result, it has become necessary for this specific sum to be provided for. And, Mr. Speaker, when one looks at the estimates set out in the Appropriation Act, we would see that the payment of the retroactive pension is in fact the second largest single aggregate item. The government has set up the Pension Secretariat via the Ministry of Finance. The Secretariat is located at Mount Welldale in the Corporate Affairs Office. The staff at Mount Welldale are working tirelessly to ensure that the processing of the pensions occur and that it is paid by 30th November 2022.
The passing of the Supplementary Appropriation Act for the period 1st January to 31st December 2022 at the first session of the 11th Parliament outlined the request of the newly elected government for an additional expenditure of $197,702,991 for the year 2022. According to Prime Minister Mitchell, the additional expenditure was not catered for in 2022.
Upon assuming office, particularly as it relates to the public sector investment program, there were significant and extensive projects that were ongoing, some of which incurred increases in the budgeted figure for a number of reasons, ranging from increase in the overall cost of bitumen, which has led to an overall increase in the cost of the road projects.
The minister outlined other programs and projects that will benefit from the additional money allocated.
An additional sum of $360,000 for training of 75 new recruits for the Royal Grenada Police Force, which includes things like meals and uniform. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, an additional sum of $1 million. That has arisen because of the rationalization of the diplomatic posts. As you would recall, Mr. Speaker, we, as a new administration, have indicated that we are recalling our ambassadors so that we can have dialogue with them and so that new appointments can be made. Naturally, that requires us to treat with outgoing ambassadors who have to recall the expense of coming home, etc.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so very much. Someone responded under that story by saying, hey, that is a promise that was made by the NMP government. And a slew of course, comments came right after that in disagreement with that initial comment. So this is where we are right about now. Of course, it's Good Morning Grenada. What else we talk?
We have a caller on the line. Yeah. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Mr. Msy and Mr. Smooth. Yeah, concerning this thing about what they explain about the jobs and the technology. This is something I look at a long time ago. The more these things come into play, we as people got to think of how we're going to survive. But I don't think some of us in this generation would not face it. We have to think of what your children and your grandchildren are going to be dealing with. Because it's obviously that the governments that come in will have to have a whole safety net program for feeding people and upkeeping people, all like things like building housing scheme. Maybe they may not able to sell the houses to the people anymore when that time reach. They'll just have to build them and give the people rooms. Because the more people go home, the more responsibility the government and the country have. We're going to see a lot of more pallets construction going on all over the place. People more hustling, people try to hustle. I'm going to tell you one simple look. If it's in a family and you have 10 people in that house and 2 gone home, they lost their jobs, eventually it's those that in the house have to support. So it comes same thing on the government. Then I'm going to give you a little experience. About 3 years ago, I had a boat and we were operating. And because of the decision the government make to give a company that were operating up in the islands of a license to operate here, that killed all our small boat system because they have 20 boats. They're doing all what we're doing. They're more equipped. And that take away all our. You know what I tend to do? When the last money I made, I buy 12 horse of tree. That is 3 years ago. And I planted them. Last month, one of them gave me a couple pounds of so. And it ended up into $180 at $3 per pound. So, and soursop is very heavy. So this soursop now, if you get 12 bags from the 12 trees, calculate that. So people got to start thinking. It's a scientific thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your contribution. Good point there, indeed. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Grenada is quite a small country in the terms of the impact with technology and jobs. I'm not sure if we will see quite a large impact as it relates to using technology on the airport within, their sector there. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, that's a long time coming, I mean, and you're right. We are small, the finance is not there, so it's going to be a minute before we can start having a serious conversation about that. All right, so yeah, definitely in agreement. But with regard to the passing of that act, of course, we are speaking specifically of the supplementary. What's it called again? Let me get the right phrase in here. The supplementary appropriation bill. We had a few. It got for quite an impressive nod of approval within the lower house. All right, the Honorable Dennis Cornwall is one of those who lend his voice in support of that bill. Of course, the greater part of that bill went towards, I think, it's infrastructure. Okay, but listen to Dennis Cornwall as he, supports this bill.
For retroactive pension payment has taken the first major step to being secured with the passing of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022 in the House of Representatives on Thursday. Other major allocations for the supplementary appropriations were financing for the new Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation with a sum of $77 million and an additional $80 million for the Ministry of Infrastructure. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, in presenting his first bill in Parliament.
All right, we apologize for the error there with that news clip. And of course, we are having those conversations.
Yeah. Here is that clip specifically from Dennis Cornwall.
Supplementary estimate that was actually presented to the House here today. And given the fact that my ministry appears to be one of the ministries that has the lion's share in this appropriation here.
Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams, says the act gives his ministry the financial support it needs to fulfill its mandate in government's transformation agenda.
This ministry is not just limited to infrastructure projects. This ministry revolves at the center of government, and we are here to ensure that all projects and programs are implemented on time, because we have seen from the past that Grenada have suffered from a low implementation rate when it comes to projects and programs. And by that we were losing grants and so in the process, grants which was approved and at the end is there to alleviate poverty and so at the end of the day. And our government, our Prime Minister thought that it was necessary to create such a ministry to ensure that we do not lose these grants and to ensure that Grenada increases the implementation rate so that things can be done more efficiently and effectively.
Yes, that's it indeed. So there you go. So that bill was easily passed in the lower house, and some of course, the parliamentary representative lending their support there. Peter David, opposition member, also gave his support with regard to that act as well. So there you have it, my friends. It's Good Morning Grenada. Hope that all is doing well. The NDC administration has no intention of returning the high courts to the carnage location.
Yeah,
there are some. You there with me, Msy?
Yes, indeed. We have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Take it? Okay.
Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning.
Ooh.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, we only have a few seconds.
I know that you have a couple of seconds, so there we go. Listen, I want to establish clearly this here country as a common citizen that what has been done there with the formation of that new ministry is a waste of time and money. You hear me?
There was also support from...
I beg your pardon? It's a waste of time and money. What we need is a smaller government, but much more efficiency. Put the ministries to work, the technocrats, the engineers, the professionals at all levels to work. These are the people who have to mobilize. These are the people who have to implement, because it's all part of management. And save this money which has been put into this so-called ministry of mobilization, etc., etc. No, we want efficiency and smaller government. I'm supportive of the government, but where I see things that becomes waste of money and repeating the same thing that the previous administration did, I shall call it out. Have a nice day, will you?
Thank you so much. And we'll take a quick break here. We'll be right back to wrap up.
Overdue.
Don't miss the new season of Interesting Grenadians on GBN TV and social media platforms from Wednesday, October 12th at 8 p.m. and every Wednesday until November 9th, featuring the Anya Chow Chung story, the Richard Duncan story, and lots more. It's Interesting Grenadians, celebrating our interesting and outstanding Grenadians at home and abroad. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN, beginning October 12th. You won't want to miss it.
Mingle and Jingle coming soon to all GBN platforms.
Vaccines protect you and they protect me. Getting vaccinated is one of the most important things you can do to keep yourself and your family safe and healthy. Once enough people are immunized, opportunities for an outbreak of disease becomes very low. And if we all choose to get vaccinated, we contribute in getting back to spending quality time with our loved ones in a safe way. Choose to get vaccinated. Vaccines bring us closer.
This is a plastic bag.
Welcome back, and it's unfortunately that time where we have to say goodbye. Thank you so much for locking it in with us on Good Morning Grenada today. Msy.Chrissy, Gary, Mr. Smooth, have a great weekend.
Bye, folks. Have a good one. Catch me over on Hot 98.